What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's having a wonderful day, and if not, it'll get better. Just try to make it the best day you possibly can, and like, comment, share, subscribe, all that jive. The link to this video will be in the description box below. But I just came across this video, 7 confusing things that only motorcyclists do, explained. So if you're not from this culture or from this world, because it is a culture and a world, trust me, then you probably won't understand these things. But let's see what some people get confused about motorcycles.
Are you a filthy cager who knows nothing about motorcycles? Do you need Papa Yam, motorcycling's greatest brand ambassador, to explain why that guy in a motorcycle is doing a wheelie? Because it's fun, you Philistine! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to come off so strong there. It's just you're doing yourself a disservice by not getting on 2 wheels, and that makes me sad. And it's better on 1 wheel anyways. Anyways, let's start over. Hi, my name is Yammy Noob. I like motorcycles, like, a lot. I might have a problem, but that's a topic for a different video. Today, we're going to take a few minutes and extend the olive branch to our fellow motorists and try to bridge the divide between drivers and riders, because let's be honest, it's been something of a rocky relationship lately if YouTube is going to be an indicator. We're going to be taking a look at some of the things that motorcyclists do while they're riding that might confuse car drivers and explain what they mean so that when you're driving next to a motorcyclist, you don't feel the need to roll down your window and scream at them. Some of these things are mistakes the rider made without even knowing it, and some of them are things you think are reckless but actually aren't. Hopefully this will clear the air a bit and make you realize soon enough that car guys and bikers can sit in a nice peaceful drum circle.
A lot of misconceptions about motorcyclists. A lot of people feel certain ways. I'm super biased because I grew up around them my entire life. I have a degree as a Harley Davidson technician, so yeah, I'm biased.
And sing Kumbaya. Just kidding, we're better than car guys. While we're on the topic of building community, did you know that we've got a massive Discord server with over 3,000 members? We've got riders, soon-to-be riders, bike-curious people, normies who don't ride at all under one roof hanging out. If you want to join up and hang out with a bunch of cool folks, and yours truly, I am on there every day, click the link below, head over to yammynoob.co and sign up. You'll get access to exclusive live streams, behind-the-scenes content, and early access to videos. The folks on the Discord already have access to the first ride video of our brand spanking new giveaway bike, which we haven't even revealed yet. Oh, and speaking of the giveaways, you'll get entered to win our giveaway bikes at the same time. But if all you want to do is get a t-shirt...
And of course I'm going to let all this play out because all credit goes to the channel that made this. Yammy Noob.
win a bike, you can go over to yammynoobmerch.com, where every dollar you spend on our designer high fashion merch is an entry to win. Or maybe you've got some riding gear you need to go with or some tires you want to buy. Well, we've got you covered.
Hopefully you don't copyright me for it, but I'm not just going to skip it. I'm going to give him all his credit because this is his content. I'm just using it.
Over at ynmoto.co, where you guessed it, every dollar you spend is an entry to win. Self-promotion over, let's dive into the confusing things that motorcyclists do. The first thing I want to talk about are hand signals. Motorcyclists have a whole bunch of hand signals that they use to communicate everything from speed up to I need to take a leak really quick. Let me see the next gas station. Riders use these universal hand signals to share information with people that they're riding with or with complete strangers. Sometimes they even have hand signals that are universal that you should be paying attention to. I made a whole video explaining hand signals in the past, so check that one out for more detail, but I'm going to cover the most common ones here for you. First and most common, the biker wave. This is when two riders pass by each other and hold out their left hand with two fingers
Sign of respect.
extended. That's basically just a saw dude, but for motorcyclists. Originally it means 2 wheels down, a shorthand for ride safe, but since then it's basically just morphed into a universal greeting. The second you'll see bikers exchanging is tapping the top of the helmet. That means one motorcyclist has spotted a police car and that everyone should ride carefully. Sometimes you'll see a line of motorcyclists slow down or move over a bit on the other lane. That's your cue to floor it past the whole bikers and distract the cop for a while. Just kidding. If you see bikers do that, just drive like a normal person. Lastly, a biker holding their hand out or a palm down or flapping his arm, that does not...
He's fun. I like this guy. Never seen a video from his channel before, but I like his commentary. He's pretty funny.
other lane, that's your cue to floor it past the whole bikers and distract the cop for a while. Just kidding. If you see bikers do that, just drive like a normal person. Lastly, a biker holding their hand out or a palm down or flapping his arm, that does not mean that he or she is trying to take flight like the daredevils of old, but rather indicating that everyone should slow down. Maybe there's something in the road or a sharp turn or who knows what, but just let off the gas.
Very true. Very, 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 very true. And if anybody's watching this video that don't know that, when you're behind a motorcyclist, if you start seeing that, slow down so you don't hit the motorcyclist, please. Like,
and take it easy. Number 2, why is that motorcyclist in front of you riding with their blinker on? They've been turning and riding like that for 10 minutes and they still haven't turned. Is that your cue to pull up next to them and shout that they're an idiot and get off the road? Nope, they probably just forgot to turn it off. Here's the thing a lot of car drivers don't know, most motorcyclists don't have self-canceling blinkers. Yeah, bet you completely forgot that your
very true.
car just automatically does that because you've never had to do it yourself and just assumed every vehicle does it. Well, on the vast majority of motorcycles, you need to cancel.
But that's the rider's responsibility to remember to cut your blinker off. Like that's kind of on you.
Cancel the blinker yourself, and a lot of times a rider just forgets. Insert Buick blinker joke here. If you see a motorcyclist with their blinker for a long time, just pull up alongside of them and give the blinker hand signal by alternating a fist and then opening your hand.
I don't know about that hand signal, but yeah.
Hand like a high five. If you're curious, some motorcycles do have self-canceling blinkers, including Harley-Davidson, BMWs, and some Triumph motorcycles. Otherwise, just assume that the guy on a little sport bike with his blinker left it on by accident. Number 3, why do motorcycles speed away from a stoplight so fast? Are they trying to show off how fast their bike is? That's unsafe and probably illegal, right? No. They're just leaving the light at a normal speed. To explain that, let's bring physics back for like the 3rd week in a row. Man, it's almost like it's really important in your day.
Because they can go from like 0 to 100. Like, yeah. Most bikes can get up to like 60 miles an hour in first gear or some shit like that nowadays.
Daily life. Stay in school, kiddos. A motorcycle is much smaller than a car and often has a higher power to weight ratio. Let's take one super common motorcycle you probably see all the time without even realizing it, the Triumph Bonneville T120. Your dad or grandpa probably had a bike like this at one point, and it's still a super popular model among motorcyclists. It makes 79 horsepower, which doesn't sound like much, but you have to consider the fact that it only weighs 530 pounds, which is actually kind of heavy for a bike. That's a power to weight ratio of 0.149. Let's take a look at the Toyota Corolla, one of the most common commuter vehicles on the planet. It makes a lot more power, 139 horsepower to be specific, setting aside the fact that there's bikes that make way more power than that, but the problem is that it weighs 2,910 pounds. Doing some complicated quadratic equations, I came up with a power to weight ratio of 0.048. That's why motorcycles always appear to speed away from a stoplight, because you're just really slow leaving the stoplight. To have the same power to weight ratio, your Corolla would need 430 horsepower, and to keep up with the bike, you'd probably need even more. And remember, that Bonneville is not even a sport bike. Number 4, why do motorcyclists always lean off their bike during
See, I mean, it's all common sense, people. Right? Ain't it? I know in one of my last videos I was talking about that guy with the super expensive sports car, whatever type it was, whatever. But like, come on, man. Like, and that's even one of like the lowest horsepower bikes there are.
Corolla would need 430 horsepower, and to keep up with the bike, you'd probably need even more. And remember, that Bonneville is not even a sport bike. Number 4, why do motorcyclists always lean off their bike during a turn? Aren't they gonna fall off? Nope, it's perfectly normal. Without getting too technical, since our collective brains are probably still sore from that math work we just did, what they're trying to do
A lot's involved in that, so look at me.
motorcyclists use their weight to decrease the amount of lean angle bike that needs to maintain the same speed. Less lean angle means that they're keeping more of the tire in contact with the ground, meaning they can go through a corner faster and safely. This really only makes a major difference at the track where you're exploring the limits of what a motorcycle can do, and every single advantage is the difference between a quicker lap time and the bike sliding out from underneath you. On the street, the only time you'll see people leaning off like crazy from their bikes is when they're speeding down a twisty road like a street Rossi, or when they're a noob trying to look cool. In some rare cases, leaning off the bike on the street really helps. Like
if you're a noob and you're trying to look cool and you lean like somebody who's been riding for a long time, I feel sorry for your parents, because you more than likely won't be here for long. Just saying.
Like in the rain, where you want to keep the bike as upright as possible, but otherwise it just usually feels really cool to do. Leaning is one of those things that separates riding a motorcycle from driving a fast car, because it's a much more physical experience. Your body weight impacts the handling of the motorcycle a lot more than in a car, even in some of those crazy expensive bleeding edge weird little go-karts that no one can afford. It's truly a one-of-a-kind experience, so if you're interested to know what it feels like, just go take the MSF course. You'll learn a lot and have a fun time doing it. Number 5, why do motorcyclists slow down without turning their brake lights on? This one has a super simple explanation. It's engine braking. Because bikes are so much lighter than cars.
Is that a question? How do bikes slow down without having brake lights come on? Can't you just let off the gas in your car or truck or whatever? And guess what? You start slowing down. People think that's different on a motorcycle? It's a gas engine. Like, it's just like your car. It's just smaller and with 2 wheels. You let off the gas, you're not accelerating the motor. Like, I can't believe that's even a question. Like, wow. Common sense really ain't common, is it?
Cars, engine braking has a much more profound effect on a motorcycle. Let's explain what the rider is doing, and crucially what they're not doing, so you know why this is happening. Normally when a motorcyclist comes to a stop, they pull on the clutch and apply the front and rear brakes to slow it down. That's the way it's taught in the MSF class, because when you grab out of the front of the rear brake, it flips a switch that turns on the rear brake light. However, when you've been riding for a while, you realize that engine braking can usually be strong enough to stop a bike and slow it down almost to a stop without even touching the brake levers. They can just downshift and let the engine do all the work, and it feels really cool because you get to rev your bike up and listen to the exhaust. It'll make someone's boring commute to the office feel a little bit more thrilling, especially when they have a quick shifter. Sometimes bikers will develop a bad habit of not pulling a brake lever when they downshift, meaning that their brake light probably won't illuminate. It's a common mistake, and one that the rider's probably making without even realizing it. I promise they're not trying to brake check you or purposefully ruin your day. They're probably just oblivious of the...
Well, obviously they're not trying to brake check you, because the brake light didn't come on. They're slowing down. Like, education.
The fact that they're slowing down in front of you without flashing their brake light. There are some lights that are activated by G-forces and turn on when they sense the bike is slowing down, but those are optional mods that you can put on a motorcycle and don't come stock. The best thing you can do as a car driver behind a motorcycle is to leave a little bit more space between you and the bike. Even if they do light up their brake lights, they'll come to a stop way faster than you, and you don't want to accidentally rear-end a motorcyclist. Seriously, don't rear-end motorcyclists.
I have to let him say that one more time, just so everybody watching can hear that again.
And turn on when they sense the bike is slowing down, but those are optional mods that you can put on a motorcycle and don't come stock. The best thing you can do as a car driver behind a motorcycle is to leave a little bit more space between you and the bike. Even if they do light up their brake lights, they'll come to a stop way faster than you, and you don't want to accidentally rear-end a motorcyclist. Seriously, don't rear-end motorcyclists. Number 6, why is that rider standing up on their motorcycle? Well, there's tons of reasons for this, but let's tackle the most common ones. First, maybe there's a pothole or an obstacle in the road they have to ride over. When you have to go over a bump on a motorcycle, it's nice to stand up on the pegs to let your knees absorb the bump rather than your...
They don't have as much suspension as your luxury car.
Fine. Yes, motorcycles have suspension components to help...
especially if you're a guy.
Help smooth out the ride, but it's a lot easier for a bump in the road to bottom out a motorcycle suspension than on a car. Also, a lot of high-performance motorcycles have super stiff rear suspension meant for cornering, and then when you go over even some cracks in the road, it can be like hitting a curb in a car. Second, the rider is just stretching out. I'll be honest, most motorcycles aren't nearly as comfortable as cars. There's no air conditioning, limited wind protection, and the seats are packed with hard foam as opposed to the soft goose-down pillows or whatever is in a modern car seat nowadays. Standing on the bike is a good way to let blood flow to some muscles that haven't been tensed up in a while, or to just let some air out. If you've never heard of gooch juice, let me just say that a motorcycle's heat cover doesn't exactly let the taint breathe. And lastly, maybe they just needed a fart. I'm not kidding. Number 7, why is that person riding a dirt bike on this?
That one was funny. I like this guy. I like his commentary. I really do. Go to his channel and watch his original version and give him a like.
Vehicle's heat cover doesn't exactly let the taint breathe. And lastly, maybe they just needed a fart. I'm not kidding. Number 7, why is that person riding a dirt bike on the street? This one is a super common question asked by people who think that motorcycles are either crotch rockets or Harleys. Don't be ashamed, there's tons of folks who only see sport bikes and cruisers, but the reality is there's a cornucopia of motorcycles out there for all kinds of different riders and riding.
Yeah, enduros and all kinds of stuff.
That person who's riding a dirt bike is probably riding a dual sport, which is a street legal version of a dirt bike meant for riding on-road and off-roads in equal measure. Or maybe they're on a supermoto, which is a dirt bike with sport bike wheels which makes them handle really well or just do really good wheelies. Or maybe that dirt bike is actually an ADV bike, which is meant for someone to ride long distances both on and off-road. I could go on explaining so many different types of motorcycles. There's just so many different ones and each one does something specific. And it's not like I already made a bunch of videos talking about that. Heck, not even all sport bikes are made the same. You've got super sports and sport touring bikes. If you're interested in learning about more of the different styles of motorcycles, we recently released a video going into exhaustive detail breaking down the most common types of bikes you'll encounter. Also, if you're the kind of person who doesn't want to get on a bike because you don't want to be a leather daddy Harley rider or total squid on a crotch rocket, you might find a kind of bike that speaks to you. Maybe you'll reconsider jumping on a motorcycle. Fact! Double stuffed Oreos are only 1.86 times as stuffed as classic Oreos. That damn capitalism and marketing at it again. Goodbye.
Wow, look how pretty this is. You know what else is pretty? My beautiful face and this next Yammy Noob video. Click it right over here and check it out for yourself. There's fun memes in it, maybe Hayabusas, maybe some cool stuff. There's only one way to find out. Click that video. Do it now.
Alright. Much respect, sir. I liked his commentary. So, make sure you go to his channel and like his video. But, if you like my reaction, you know, you can like, comment, share, and subscribe my video as well. But I hope everybody has a wonderful day. If it's not a wonderful day, just try to make it the best day you possibly can. Positivity is key, and I don't know. With that being said, I hope everybody just enjoy yourself and be nice and watch out for motorcyclists, because it's dangerous. Peace.